Hi, my name is Chef Brian Mendenhall with Central 9 Career Center and the Johnson County Library. We'll be making a butternut squash hash today. If you've never seen the butternut squash before, this is our butternut squash. On the outside, there's a peel, okay, and you can take a standard peeler to get that off. The skin is a little bit thick, so it will take you a little bit of effort, but it can be done. First thing what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and turn on our saute pan. When it comes to cooking today, we're looking for a medium-high heat, okay? So, with our butternut squash, we're going to cut this down in what I would call planks, which we will then turn into a dice. When I say planks, this is kind of what we're looking for. I like to work in twos, and we will stack these on top of each other. And then we can come back and get our standard dice. Now, I'm not looking for a perfect dice, but we're looking for things to stay roughly in about the same shape. Okay, the reason behind that, why we do some of these maybe fancy looking knife cuts, generally because we want things to cook at the same rate. So this is a kind of a medium to more of a large dice. Now, obviously, with our butternut squash today, because it does take a little bit of effort, I went ahead and diced up most of what we have thus far. So, finishing up now. Again, looking for kind of a medium to large dice. A couple of things about butternut squash. It is considered a winter squash. It does have like a texture of a raw potato. I already mentioned it has a nice peel on the outside. On the inside of it, so this is kind of our bottom half of our butternut squash, we do have some seeds here. Now, we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. Our pan's nice and hot. We're going to add just some normal canola oil to it, roughly about 3 tablespoons. We will scoop up our butternut squash. Get them all together. Okay, we try to teach our students, especially when we're doing a saute, we're looking for a hot pan and hot fat or hot oil. So we're going to go ahead and add our butternut squash to our pan. And then back to kind of our raw state. So like I said, we do have some seeds in there. If you want to take that out, you certainly can easily scoop that out, and you can also, just similar to a pumpkin, you can roast those seeds and you can eat those. So we're going to put that off to the side. Just want to show you that so you can see it. Next, we're going to work with the red onion. I'm a big fan of onions. I'm a big fan of color in my food. We give this a quick little stir. So we've got a nice bright orange color, almost looks like cheddar cheese. And then we've got our red onion. So with our red onion, we're going to dice this today. We're going to take this end off, but keep our root end on. Okay, we're going to cut that in half. And I like to peel away that first layer or two to expose what we want to cut. A lot of times when we talk about our onions, we talk about dicing, and sometimes our onions can be big as a softball, and they're kind of hard to work with. So I like to think in kind of small quantities. So I will cut our onion into a quarter. We used to have a half. I'm going to cut twice on top, and I'm going to flip it, and do that 2 more times. We'll come back, and we'll get some nice diced pieces. And we will do that 3 more times here. So this is kind of what I would consider maybe the simplest, maybe easiest way to dice an onion, but we're not cutting into that onion. We're cutting down twice, like I said, 2 more times, and then coming back and giving ourselves another dice. Now we've got our onions ready to go. We're going to go ahead and scoop them up. Add those to our pan. And let those continue to cook down. So again, like I said, we have a nice kind of, at least starting out, a nice display of color, which is what we actually want. Definitely makes me think of fall. So we have a couple other ingredients we're going to work with. One would be sage. So this is fresh sage here. It has what I would consider a unique texture. It's kind of fuzzy. When we are working with it, I like to do a chiffonade. And chiffonade means ribbon. So our first step is we're going to stack the sage on top of each other. I'm going to give it a quick little roll. And then we will cut, again, that chiffonade in French means thin ribbon. And I'll show you what that looks like here in a second. And you can do this with a lot of different herbs. It could be sage, it could be basil, it could be parsley, cilantro. I like to use sage in this aspect because it's definitely an ingredient that goes well with butternut squash. It's also an ingredient that goes well with poultry, chicken, turkey, pork as well. So add our sage to our pan. What we're looking for in our pan here is we're looking to start to create some, what I would consider some caramelization. So our fruits, our vegetables all have sugar in them. When we start to cook them on a high heat, those sugars start to release and they create caramelization, which is the same color if we're grilling a steak, if we're roasting butternut squash, that sugar starts to come out and creates that caramelization. You can actually see some of our pieces now where they have a little bit of caramelization going on. That's what we actually want. Okay, to give this a little toss in our pan. We also want to make sure we season. So I'm going to go pretty basic today. We've got just your kosher salt. We're going to do a good pinch of kosher salt. Pretty good pinches here. And black pepper. Now if you want to maybe spice it up some, that's up to you. You want to use some chili flakes. Maybe you want to use some garlic. That's up to you. Give it one more toss in our pan. And then we're going to do actually a dual cooking today. So first we're sauteing, and then we're actually going to add a liquid to our pan, which is going to create steam. That's how we're going to finish our dish. So what I've got here, we've got some apple cider. So we add that to our pan. As you probably heard, we created kind of a sizzle, but we also created some steam, which is going to help continue cooking our dish today. Another one of our ingredients, which will add some color, and it also makes me think of fall. You might think of cranberries and turkey, okay? Again, with us cooking this dish today, this is a great side dish for Thanksgiving that will pair great with turkey. But if it's not for Thanksgiving, it pairs great with a pork chop as well. So we've got dried cranberries that we're going to add. Again, adding another element of color to our dish today. And we're going to stir those in. The liquid that we have in our pan will help rehydrate those cranberries and plump them up a little bit. If we talk about flavors, we've got some sweet things in there. We've got some savory things in there. We've got some tart things. So we're adding different elements of flavor, which we're talking about cooking is certainly important. Our last ingredient we're going to work with today is some curly parsley. If you want to use Italian parsley, would work great. If you want to use maybe some green onions or chives, they will work great as well. We're going to do just kind of a general rough chop. Similar to our chiffonade, we kind of bring all of our herbs together, and then we can do kind of a rough chop. If we think about our food, Okay, we all like food, we like eating food, but we actually first eat with our eyes. So if we're talking about garnishes like chopped parsley in our situation here, or maybe green onions or chives, are going to add an element that appeals to our eyes. Alright, so at this point, all of our liquid, or at least the majority of our liquid, is gone. Okay, it has evaporated. Our cranberries have started to plump up a little bit because they've kind of sucked up some of our liquid. But one key thing is we've cooked this down, but we still have nice bright colors and we have texture. A lot of times in our American food, we generally overcook our vegetables and where they're mushy and they lose nutrients. We do not want to do that. So at this point, we're going to shut off our heat. We're going to grab a bowl here. So if you want to think you're getting ready for Thanksgiving dinner, lunch, we can simply add this into a nice bowl. Up top, take our parsley. Have that nice bright green color, just to add another element of not just flavor, but of certainly color as well. So again, this is our butternut squash hash. We've got butternut squash, we've got onions, cranberries, sage, a little bit of apple cider vinegar, salt and pepper, of course, can't go without it, and then topped with a little bit of parsley. Alright, here's our final product of our butternut squash hash. This would be a great Thanksgiving side dish this coming season. Like I said, we've got butternut squash, we've got cranberries, onions, parsley in there. Again, my name is Chef Brian. I'm one of the culinary art instructors here at Central 9, and I also represent the Johnson County Library.